Good morning, guys. We got a beautiful day going on here. It is going to get very hot. I think it's going to be close to 90. We're starting into fall. We got some pretty colors started here. See if I can find a few more. I got a tree out back here that's getting pretty. And there's another nice maple right there. Has some pretty colors. So anyways, what we got is Dawson's got his roof on. He's got to work on the eave. He's got to put the M seal in there, and that keeps the bees out and whatever. If you seal that up, then the little critters can't get up in there. And then his sheathing is attached to the side right along the rim joist, so there's no way he's going to get critters in there if he frames his opening for his doors pretty tight. He wants to put 2 windows in the top that vent in, and so this is what I want him to work on today, because he does have some extra material that can be returned, and that'll clear up some floor space. So I think he's going to get out his sawhorses, tools, and so on, and figure out how he's going to frame his door and his gable ends. While he's doing that, I got this little eyesore of basically a free shed. I think we probably got $100 in it. We bought a cull pack of lumber, metal. I got some free metal, and then I had some leftover cut-off metal from various jobs I keep. Different colors. This building needs to be painted, but what I got to finish is I want to do a little salt box, little roof coming off the front of this. I haven't figured up the angles yet. I got to find some material. I'm sure I got stuff around here. The steel that's on there is used steel on the roof, and I believe they put Geico, the white elastic roof coating on that roof. It used to be on a sunroom, and I'm repurposing it. It's just a wood storage building. When it rains, the deck floor does not get wet in here, so the overhang is pretty good up here. But I want to come off and come down probably, I don't know, at least 2 feet. I want to keep the elevation high enough that I can pull the tractor up in here, because this door opening is wide enough to get a 5-foot bucket in. It's a 6-foot opening, and have firewood, and I don't want the cab to hit my roofing. And this does slope downhill. Remember, I put a sluice in this the other day. I want to get a load of crusher run. Here comes Dawson. He's got a video he's going to start. I want to do a driveway entrance here, a little bit more crusher run, and then Dawson's got his entrance here that he's got to go up about probably 8 inches anyway, or do a wooden ramp. He hasn't decided yet. But his slope here isn't great, so I think I'm going to extend the crusher run out into here. This still may be my staging for logs to do firewood cutting, but I'm going to try to get them mostly over this way. And so I want to work on this while Dawson's working on that, and we can share tools a little bit. And he's going to frame out. I think what he's got to do before he does much framing is well, it's still considered framing, but he's got to get more collar ties in there so that we can release this front here, and everything's going to stay nice and tight. His little rafters up there, they're tied together okay, but I think he's got to do a couple more collar ties, and or go ahead and start his loft to keep the building from spreading. So I set a ladder up here. I'm just going to dream up whatever I want to do here. I left these rafters, these 2x6s, just running square. So a plumb cut would be this. So I could go ahead and set a level, get my angle for what pitch it is, or check the top here, or check the bottom. But what I want to do is probably do another 2x6 and come out this way maybe 2 foot or something, and tilt it down and pick my pitch on it. So like a I don't want it too shallow, but I don't want it too steep because we're going to lose headroom. So if I looked over here, I want to see what height I have now. And I've got 92, about 91 I'll say. And so this is the lowest point I'd like to go. The slope goes down, so probably if I come up in here with a tractor bucket, the roof structure is going to be here, and it's about 7 foot. So we're still in good shape no matter what I do here, but I probably will come down, because it's a pole barn, it's not that important. If I was using plywood, the 2x should be from here coming out. I could do just a simple nail a 2x6 onto here and go either, 2 foot or 32. If I go 32, the sun angle and rain angle would be like that. That's probably sufficient because it doesn't get wet in there now. And so I think what I'll do is I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll get 4 that are approximately 3 feet long, 2x6s. I'm sure I got scrap somewhere. They can be pressure treated or white wood. And then I probably, like I said, I could either cut it on that angle, I could recut this angle, or I could just nail them on and do a gusset plate. So let me go see what I got, use the scraps I have, and if I did a ridge cap here, then I need a purlin, two or three purlins that are the length of this building, and I think this was all of 12 foot. So let me go see what I got. I'll get materials out here and we'll get a head start on this. So I'll gather my wood up. Okay, I put a level up there and ran a plumb line, and then I eyeballed it, and I thought a 612 pitch would be nice and give me some overhang and keep some height up there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the first one at a 612 pitch, and then I'll make a gusset to support that rafter. I think that's the best way to do this. I need 4 of them, and I've got a 2x6 by 11 foot 3. I don't know what that's left over from, and I think it was on that call pack. So I'm going to do the math, and I'll use the complete board to make 4 rafters. So what I got is I got a 11 foot 3 or so. So if I did about a 36 inch, what I could do is I'll measure 3, 6, 9, 12. So if I did a 612 pitch, what I can do is I'm square on this end. I'll come down to my 3 foot, turn it onto my 612 pitch, and this might work out good. So I'll put a little mark at my 3 foot, turn this, do my line. That's my 612. Now we just gained, from here to here, I just gained 3 inches. So I can use this pitch, that pitch. Now I got to do a square cut. So I'll come down another 3 foot. It doesn't have to be perfect on this shed, but here's a 3 foot. I'll do a square cut. This way I'll use like the whole board. So I've got 1, 2. Now I'll do another 3 foot. Dawson's getting around in the background to do his, I think he's going to work on his loft. Get some collar ties in there. Here's another 3 foot. Let's see how this works out. Before I do any cutting, I'll just do some checking. I'll swing this over to 612. And it looks like I might be a whisker short on this. Otherwise, you can do it on a calculator. Now, from point to square is 36. Now, if I do this one, we're only 29. So the difference on this is 7 inches. So now I know Boom, boom, boom. I could probably do a 34. I tried. I want to use the maximum board and get me out as far as I can reach. So I'm going to do the same thing again. 612. Okay, this line will go away. Now I'll measure down to my square at 34. It doesn't take that long. Now I want to do a square cut. So this line will go away. Now we measure down another one. We'll go 34. We're going to be a lot closer this time probably. And then we'll scribble up our boards that nobody sees. It's a shed, you know. Wood shed. Now what do we got? We end up with 38. So we'll have 4 inches of waste. I could probably add an additional inch on that. But if I do a fascia board on, I think I can pick that up there. I think I'm going to leave it at that. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to check my numbers. 34. So if I did 35, 35, 35, 35, I think I can do that too. And I think my steel that I have over there will make it on these numbers in 3-foot increments. I think they're 12s. So I think we're 12 foot. I think we'll be in good shape if I did a 35 on this. Doing them in pencil. 35. Go to the long. 35. See how close we are. See if I went too far or not. Are you guys good with math? We do it on calc, I guess. Do 35. And we'll go to the long again. See if we're going to make it. And we got 35. Awesome. So, 35, check them again. 35. 35. 35. Now we get no waste doing that. So I'll go ahead and cut these 4. Be 3 cuts, and then there's our rafter. I'll go ahead and get some gussets so I can nail them on. We'll probably use a Ryobi nailer. Alright, I'm going to cut up my little rafters here using Dawson's saw. There's a lot of power. Now we got 4 rafters the same size. Awesome. So I'm going to go place them up there, and we're going to see if we like our angles, because I can retrim. Alright, let's go ahead and put our rafters up. I think the angle, being a 612, would be good. I think the back here is about a 312, and that would match up nice to like a salt box. And so I'm just going to run it like this. It is what it is. I'm going to shoot them in. I wish I had the tractor scaffold out here, but let's deal with this, you know. And then I might bring out my articulating ladder. Let's see if I can do it. Sorta. Probably do it from the roof pretty good. So I want to line this up about flush. Just like that. And then I want to put like gusset plates on here. So I don't need a whole bunch of nails right now. What I want to do, I think, is put one rafter on to see if I like the angle, or if I want like an 812. See if I can get in here better. I'm using a 3-inch ring shank, and that's going to hold it there. And then I want to put like a gusset plate across here. And I found a piece of scrap plywood we took off the church when we were repairing, and I saved a piece of it. And then the end of that board has a little crack in it. That's all right, nobody will see that. So tell me if you like that angle. What do you think, Dawson? That's going to give me roughly 4 feet of overhang.
Stand under it.
Yeah, what do you think of it?
Keep you out of the weather. Should be pretty nice.
I think that's going to give us enough room that, you know, the snow won't be blowing right in there.
So
not too terrible.
Salt box design?
Yeah, it's kind of like the house is a salt box. You got 2 different slopes there going on. And I think it'd look nicer if it was a steeper pitch, but I don't want to lose the height. I want to be able to drive the tractor under it. So I'm going to nail these off and see what we get. So what I did is I has some of this 5/8 texture 111 that we took off the church. We had to replace some siding on the church, and I saved some pieces that were okay shape. They're not beautiful, but they'll make nice gussets for this. I like to repurpose when I can. And remember, on our building here, we're trying to do it on like no money. And that's what we're doing here. We're trying to spend no money on this. So I'm just going to line this up and get my gusset started here. Make sure it's not sticking up. I'm using a 2-inch nail so it doesn't go all the way through. Now that should be a nice strong gusset. It's just putting them slightly below the surface and they're not sticking out. So 2-inch nail is perfect. Now it may wiggle a little left and right till I get my purlins, but I probably could hang off of that. And so I'm going to finish cutting the rest of them. And then I'll put them up as I put our rafters up so I don't have to keep moving my ladder. I'm going to struggle putting another one on here. I used to use my scaffolding a lot. I miss using it. Gives me a good spot to work. Working off the ladder is always tough. But in this case, it's probably not worth all the labor time to set it up. Justin's framing out his opening for his doors on the front of the building, right next door, but his building's starting to make this thing look really bad, so I got to get this finished up. This is awkward. Where's my helper when I need him, right? I probably could use a screw gun and screws, but this is a little faster, maybe. It's only got to be held there long enough to get my gussets on. And I put my shorter nails in this. So I cut a total of 6 gussets. I can't put a gusset on the outside. That's where the roofing steel is going to go. I have to put my gussets like this. This is going to work out pretty good. Something's going on. I think the battery I'm using is flat. It's dead. Now it's got a green light, so maybe it's all right. I'm out of nails. I only threw one clip in there. It was a short clip. So I'm going to put gussets on both sides of that. And I'm going to use the 2 inchers. You only get about 25 nails on a clip here. You can get an extended magazine. And I think it'll hold up to 75 or something, 50 or 75. I might look into that someday. But normally, if I'm going to use a battery operated, I think that looks pretty good. This is probably enough. I'm probably going to be in the air in an awkward position, and I don't need a whole mess of nails. Because if I'm on the ground or framing a big wall or sheathing, I'll probably use my boss stitch air nailer, and that'll shoot pretty fast. I like to get my purlins on here and get my steel figured out. Get that cut, and then I'm going to use probably a gable, corner gable or something flashing to use for my ridge cap, because I'm not going to buy material for this. See how rugged they are? They'll hold my weight, I know. And they're ring shanks, so they're not going to pull out. A gusset on either side. The ends are going to have a gusset on the inside only. And then the sheet metal will probably come out, because I'm thinking about doing a diagonal brace back to the building and then put steel on that angle. And that should hold this whole thing up as a system. Or I might leave that off. I don't know yet. I'll see. All it is to keep the snow from going in here. And I was originally thinking on, I told Dawson, maybe putting posts out there and run like a lean-to. Then I can split my wood and stuff here. But I don't know if I want all them wood chips and mess to clean up here. Might end up being more labor intensive, you know, so I don't want that. So now we're going to move across, do a couple more. And then let's swap nails here. Alright, I got those nailed up there. My ladder kept sinking in the dirt over there because I haven't tamped that yet. I want to bring some more gravel in. So you get the general idea. We got about 4 feet overhang now on the front. And so what that's going to do is going to keep the rain out. In the winter time, the sun should be able to reach in there and more, you know, more dry that out if anything gets blown in. But I should be able to come up into here with a snowplow and back drag it out. I don't see a problem with that. But mainly to keep the rain from blowing in there, because I don't want the wood that I put in there to get wet. And if I put green wood in there, I want it to dry, so I don't want it getting wet constantly. So those purlins, those gussets onto those rafters are plenty strong. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and throw a couple purlins up there. I'll probably put one here at the end, and then I'll put one about where the ridge cap is going to end. And that's plenty of purlins for that little piece. And I think that should work out good. Okay guys, I got my little rafters cut. I've got from the building out I said we had around 4 feet, and we're going to have about 4 feet. I've got my purlin on top, my gussets are on. This is pretty rugged. See, it's not moving much. So this should be great. I've got my second purlin on here in this location because what I want to use is an outside corner that I already have left over from another project. And I'm going to use it as a ridge cap. I can put it on as one piece, and it's going to be 12 inches. So I line this up so that I can get in the center of this purlin existing and then centered on this, and I'll have a 12 inch. My steel is going to line up good at 3 foot. I'll have overhang, and so the water will end up dripping way out here. I'll use the least amount of metal because I believe they're 12 footers, so I get 4 pieces, and 4 times 3 is 12, so I think it's going to work out good. 3 times 4 is 12, and then be least amount of waste. 1 piece up here, 1 piece of steel here. I'll probably put M seal on this so the wind and rain don't drive in there. Or I'm not all that concerned about it, is if I left this open and this is a high point, it'll act like a vent and come out. So I'm not sure if I want to gasket it, because the moisture in the wood is going to be humid, you know, drying out in there, especially if I put in there green, that this might be a good ventilation point where the air will come all the way up to the top and exit out. And then the little bit of wind-driven rain is only during the rain, and during normal rain it's going to exit both directions. So I might take that back and not use a gasket. And so now I'm just going to go get my steel, get it cut, get some screws, and put it down. All right, I brought out some steel I got. This isn't all of it, but I'm going to pick through there. There's probably about 20 sheets in there. I'm going to try to use the smallest stuff. I really don't care what color. It would be great if it's brown, because I think I'm going to paint the building brown, but I don't know. Let's see what we got left. Okay, I sorted through my pile. It's getting slimmer by the moment. I've got enough Galvalume. Over here I don't want to use this galvanized because it won't take paint the same. So I got 2 sheets. I got, like I said, this galvanized. I got 2 furnace slate. I got 2 brown. I think there's a little damage here and a little dent there. That'll work though. It's going to be long enough. So I'll cut it here. I can get 2 browns. I can get 2 browns, and I can get 2 slate. And I'll go ahead and cut them, and we'll attach them up there. I'll get out that Ryobi roofing cutter there. So I'm going to use these pieces I got. They're good enough for this. I'm going to use this Ryobi cutter. I'm going to cut them about 40 inches long. If you can fold these up as you go, they cut a lot better. But it's still not easy. It's real easy to go long with the material, but not over them ribs. And it's easier if you have a helper, but when you're struggling, it takes longer. Keep them as straight as you can here. how life's a struggle? There's sheet number one. I'm going to cut all these and then we'll put them up there as a unit, you know, all at the same time. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start hooking the metal up there on the roof. See how square I can get it. I want to keep about 1 inch overhang on this side. Let's see what we get. I'm only going to hook the bottom purlin because our ridge cap's going to go over the rest. I'm using that Ryobi quiet strike, and it's pretty quiet compared to an impact. And I think what I'll do is I'll just put one per sheet for a minute. Get this out of the way. And just see how they line up, because these sheets are been walked on, stepped on, stretched. They're not in very great shape, but they're good enough for this. And see, what I want to do is keep a nice straight edge. Something like that. I use 1.5 inch post screws. And they're hard to get exactly straight when it's such a short sheet, you know. You're only working with that little bit. So that's why I want to tweak them a little bit right now. I can fine tune them at the end, but I want to get them about right now. Feels like about 90, don't it, Dawson? Pretty hot out here today for after Labor Day. I just want to line these up nice and straight. Looking good from here. How about from there, guys? So it looks halfway straight. And it's covered on wood, so I'm pretty happy with that. So now, just screw it down. Get as many as I can reach. I hear fire. You gotta shift over a little bit. And then the ridge cap will cover the last purlin, so I just gotta do, I'll probably go up on the roof to do that one. Just going to go up and put that homemade ridge cap on there. I'll set the ladder on the side, and we'll go up there, and we got to cut that corner to length. I'm going to use it. But see, that looks pretty good. Okay, there you have it, guys. Good enough. It's an outside corner. It was just long enough to make the major part of the building. It's about 1 inch shy. I'm not going to care. The water will be outside of the building. So with those gussets, the little rafters, that gives us room to stand under here if it's raining without getting soaked. And also, it gives me a lot more diagonal, you know, about 4 feet more to keep the weather out. So we got quite a bit of overhang here, and it's going to work fine. It's just a little short job. Use the materials I had. Didn't buy anything. We're still on that same budget on that shed of, I forget what our total was. Might have been 200 bucks for the whole thing. I do have a gallon of paint. I want to paint it. On the front there, we ran out of screws. I found a couple more. I'm going to put them in the Purlins there. Make sure this all the way around. And then slap some paint on it. Get it one color anyway. And so I think we're going to be right about $200 into our wood building. It's a 8 by 12. It's got a whole mess of firewood in it now. And it can hold about 2 more face cord at least, because I've been piling it pretty high. This is up. That's as high as I can reach, and it's up higher than that. So it's probably almost 8 feet here. It's about 6 feet in the back. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4 to that paper mark. See the paper here? And it's almost another half up on top here on both sides. So I would say we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I bet there's 5.5 in here now. And I bet it'll hold just about 8 face cords. So it's almost a winter's worth of wood for one of our stoves. So like I said, I got a couple screws to put in right there, right there. Good enough on this. I'm going to rake down the bottom. Going to hose it down, and the next nice day I might spray paint it. That'll be another project. I know this is, like I said, on a budget. I have a brake and aluminum and all that, and I can make trim and all that. I might do a diagonal brace on this and then throw a piece of metal on that because it would look better. I got to think on it, but I'm just jumping over here while I'm helping Dawson do the framing on his building. If he needs a little bit, I help him. Just a little side job. All right, Dawson's over there framing up for his window. He's doing pretty good. I come over here and I threw a couple pieces of metal on the end here. So from the side, kind of pretties that up a little maybe. I don't know. Covers the wood up anyway. And then on the back, I just threw a little piece to cover up the end of the rafter. Because remember, we wrapped that metal around. We didn't use an outside corner. And same thing over here, is I just threw metal up on there to finish that off. And this thing's ready for paint. I put a few screws in the front. I'm gonna call this video an end. I got my cheap building here with no money. I had the screws, I had the metal. Obviously different colors, I could care less, guys. I'm gonna let it rain wash it off, get it clean. I'm gonna cut the earth down a little bit. Remember, we haven't tamped that yet, so that'll settle a 1/2 inch every pass. I want to get that so the metal's exposed so I can paint it. And then I'm gonna probably trim a few branches back there. And then if it doesn't clean up well, I'm gonna pressure wash it. And then we're gonna paint it probably brown. And I think Dawson's gonna end up picking color to match his building. So when you come back here, you're gonna realize that's his garage, his house, and just a wood building. So he's plumbing up his framing around his window. And I'm gonna end this video here. Thank you for watching. I hope you subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one, guys. Thank you.